here's a tree, and this is where everything started in terms of the course. So this is the final insert from London, and I'm in Hyde Park, and I'm at Speaker's Corner. I'll show you that in a moment. But first, I just want to return to this beautiful tree, because that's where the course started, where we were thinking about structuring climate education for students, and that sculpture of the trees, where if you sit in that central tree in the upper room sculpture, all the other trees line up and come together, and you get a real understanding of the true dimensions and proportions of the climate crisis, and you feel like there's a synergy, you feel like things hang together. And once you know what the shape of things, once you know how things hang together, then you can go and indulge details. So you can go up to any one individual feature of the climate crisis, be that something in chemistry or something in sociology or psychology, and you can do it informed by the fact that you have the full systems view. So you know how to treat it in a systems perspective. So I'm here in Hyde Park Corner, Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park, to just explain how the Climate Academy works, because the textbooks, which have been in the background of this course, they're part of the Climate Academy's resources to help students stand in the right space so that they can understand things. And just to make that clear, if I just do one sort of slow rotation here in Hyde Park, then Hyde Park is just one vast open space in the heart of London. There's almost no features, kind of featureless grass landscape. And that's a little bit how the climate information appears to students who don't have this systems view. Because how do you know what's really important? How can you measure the statements of a politician or a corporation? How can you know how significant a piece of scientific research is? What you have to have is a map, a cognitive map of how it all fits together. And very often, because we only tend to do climate education in schools in a way where it's just small snapshots of information, like a kind of strobe light of facts or figures, then it's very disorientating for students. They don't really know how bad things are, or maybe they've got an idea that it's worse than it actually is. So we have to provide students with a really clear map of the crisis, and that's what the Climate Academy is set up to do. 12 years ago, when I got my first shock about the depth and the scope of the crisis that we're in, it took me a long time to recover my senses, to see, well, hold on, I've just heard that, and there's a whole kind of fact-checking and research that happened over several months just to kind of get my coordinates for what's going on. So I think what's important in climate education, and what the Green Skills framework does very well, is it offers us a map of how to go forward, because it is a bit bewildering out there. You don't really know where to start. That's just a big open space. So there's a second reason why I'm here in Hyde Park Corner, but I'll come to that in a moment, and I'll just do that in front of that cafe over there. So this place is famous because in history, various people like George Orwell, for example, the author, they've come here to speak their mind. And if there's one place in London where you can hold a selfie stick and not be asked to turn it off, like I was in BP headquarters, then this is it. So this is the symbol of free speech. And behind me here is the cafe Speaker's Corner, and in a way that's what we want the students to be able to do. We want students who understand the crisis, who have a good cognitive map of it, We want them to be able to then communicate those things in the public space. So the Climate Academy, this is the second explanation of what the Academy does. We have some numbers which are central to what we do, and these are called the CUT-X numbers, or you could call it the CUT-X index. There's a website, cutx.org, and here you have all the numbers for every nation of the world and the carbon reductions, the emissions reductions, which they have to do in order to stabilize emissions at 1.5 and 2 degrees. Now, these are very simple numbers. Each country has one number for each of those thresholds, and by giving students these numbers, they have a measure of the situation. So in the absence of any index, students can't really speak with authority about what's going on above their heads. What's necessary to give students and to empower them to be able to speak, in a sense, with scientists behind them in support, and to speak with authority and to speak with confidence, is you need to put some clear numbers in their hands. So there's a real pedagogical reason for putting the CUT-X numbers at the heart of everything which the Climate Academy does, because it enables them to walk into this open space, open public space, and it enables them to speak about the climate and about resource extractions and the wider sustainability crisis with a realism and in an informed way. And it also gives them the advantage of being able to speak against disinformation. There are weapons of mass disinformation out there, and we have to, as a school, we have to give students a safe space from which to speak. So this is Speaker's Corner, and what better place to talk about putting students safely into the public space than here. Just one final word as I walk to my train. These numbers are freely available because the Climate Academy is set up in order to provide knowledge, because the right to know is an important right for young people, the right to know what is going on. So students, anybody, any public, but students of course, they can access these numbers. They're updated annually. The full explanation for these numbers can be found both through the CUT-X website and also through the free chapters of the Climate Academy. Again, the Climate Academy, we put some free chapters out there. They've been written, all the 15 chapters have been written by me, but the 13th one's been written by the European Patent Office. But essentially what the Climate Academy is committed to is leveraging and bringing the understanding of students to a systemic level, so that they are systems informed, so that they can have a systems impact when they go out into the world. So we have a commitment to make those resources free, not just through the numbers, the CUT-X numbers, which are always free, but also through the essential explanations to those numbers and the essential details of the systems level perspective. So there are free chapters available in the Climate Academy website. You just have to fill in forms, and yeah. Thanks for staying with me on this little tour of London. Bye.